Marky Harris, and welcome to Where's the Buzz TV. I'm sitting down chatting with Joaquina Kalukano, who is a Broadway star, actress, as well as Hannah in Lovecraft Country, and she also plays Betty Shabazz in the upcoming film One Night in Miami. First and foremost, how are you doing? I know we asked that before recording, but I just want to ask again for the people to know.
Man, I'm good. I'm good. Like I said, I'm happy. I'm healthy. My family's good. That's all that's important.
Absolutely.
I'm good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm good. It's been a crazy quarantine. I love quarantine, I'm not gonna lie, but at the same time, I do think it's like horrible. I love it. You get to see your family. I'm from the Midwest, so it's been really amazing for me to be able to go home and see my family, and that's the most. I live in LA, so yeah. So are you on the East Coast right now?
No, I'm actually in Canada right now.
Oh wow! Okay.
So, yeah.
Why?
I'm in Vancouver, but I was in Atlanta for the majority of quarantine.
Okay.
And that's where my family's from.
Okay. Are you just are you in Canada for any specific reason or just?
Yeah, I'm shooting a film up here.
Okay. You can't disclose anything now.
I guess I can't.
No problem. Yeah. Well, so before we jump into it, I do like to always ask guests like the beginning of their journeys as an artist. So did you get your start in Broadway? Because I actually saw on one of your interviews where you said you actually wanted to go into archaeology or psychology. How did you get your interest in the arts?
Oh, so this is pretty funny. I have to give all of the credit to Miss Jones, my counselor in 8th grade, because I had a horrible talent audition, talent competition where I was singing For You I Will by Monica. And I had like this horrible churchy, like Christianing white dress, right? And I'm singing to the actual track that Monica is singing to, not like an instrumental or karaoke. I'm literally singing to Monica with a mic. And she was like, I think you should audition for Tri-Cities Performing Arts High School. I was like, I don't know if this is a joke, but for me, I was like, dead serious. And needless to say, I didn't play or win in that competition. But anyway, I got my start there and I auditioned for the school. It was a majority all Black performing arts high school. And from there, I did everything from musicals like Serafina to Pearlie to Aida and plays by August Wilson and Pearl Clegg. And so I just got a very strong foundation very early on. And then, of course, I went to Juilliard for college. And then, so I was right in New York. And from there, I started working off Broadway and on Broadway.
Absolutely. What would you say? Because now I remember in that same interview, you were like, I really want to get into more TV and film. And now you're playing you've already been playing iconic roles, but when did you find out that you would be playing an ancestor in Lovecraft Country as well as the Betty Shabazz?
Oh my gosh. Well, it's so funny because with Lovecraft, there's so much secrecy around it. So you don't really know like how your character's gonna unfold in the series. But yeah, I auditioned for Lovecraft, I think in the summer of last year. And it was a completely different scene that wasn't, of course, in the series. So I got there and I auditioned and I did like I did an African accent, an Angolan accent, and then I did like a Southern accent because just, I guess from the character breakdown, it could be either way. So I was like, well, I don't know, I'll give them two choices and see what happens. And then I got the part. And so I just showed up that day and it was incredible. The special effects, everything, the production, of course, the team. I'm just so proud of that show. It's amazing. It's mind blowing. It's so many genres in one. I feel like each episode could be a whole season by itself.
Yeah, no,
it took you on an amazing, crazy journey.
No, absolutely. I love. First of all, I love Misha Green, but
can we talk about it?
No, literally, because first of all, I was pressed about Underground being let go. Pressed. Yeah. So
everybody.
Yeah. No, literally. And I was just confused, like, what? Well, for what? For why? But so when Lovecraft came, I was like, okay, cool. We got a little bit of a, resurgence of her. Like we can see all of her art. What was it like? Because and also too, so with Slave Play, you said that celebs came to see you, and one of those celebs was Regina King. Did that kind of trickle into you getting the part for Betty Shabazz?
I mean, I would say it helped. It definitely helped that she saw me. But I mean, I was just auditioning, because with auditions, I mean, everybody knows this with actors. You get so many no's before you get yeses. So for me, just the opportunity to be able to put my tape in front of her was just going to be a plus anyway. And that was all I was expecting from that, right? And so, but to hear the callback that I got it, I was like, what is happening right now? What is my life? Um, so it's an amazing film.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. The men are very strong. It's such an important film. I can't wait for everybody to see it on December 25th.
Yes.
And then on Amazon, if y'all can't make it out in the theaters, it's gonna be a beautiful, beautiful story.
I'm blessed to have seen it already. You did an amazing job.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. No, I shout out to Amazon. They did give out journalists some screeners for it. So they did a drive-in screener. Yeah, no, it was, I mean, One Night in Miami. Yeah, everybody who is watching right now, like that's the film that you got to see. And for that to be her directorial debut, oh my goodness.
Insane.
You know, iconic women who are leading you. What is it like to be on set working with Black women who are leading you, telling our stories, but also being able to kind of curate that journey for audiences?
I think for me, there's a safety in it. I immediately come in and I don't have to worry about if whether or not this story is going to be told in a way that I'm not going to enjoy, right?
Yeah.
I feel like there's an inherent protection that I feel in knowing that these women take their craft seriously, take the work seriously, and are looking at all facets of how to tell this story. And so I feel in good hands, and that doesn't always happen for actors. So that's the number one thing. Seeing boss women just take control of the rooms, you know what I mean, and being crafts women, it's amazing, and it's something that I honestly feel like I've in the few past years really been able to be a witness to, which has been exciting, and to see how it's changed over the years, because it hasn't always been so.
Absolutely. And one thing that's, your resume is jam-packed with, like that, iconic roles, Betty Shabazz, Nettie, Hannah, that the world has seen now. You play a lot of roles that portray Black struggle, but you're also a Black woman yourself, and you're living the real Black struggle every single day.
Right.
How do you not only, so is it a combination of, like, I always like to ask, like, how do you prep for these roles? But you are a part of that Black struggle. So what do you have to kind of conjure up to portray the Black struggle? And also, how do you deal with just the drama of it all afterwards? Like, how do you find peace?
I think it's different when you're playing actual historical figures. It's harder, especially when there's information out, or there are videos out, and books out. You try your best to bring an essence, because at the end of the day, these were real people, right? And we were not those people, but so you try to find whatever essences that you can bring to their character, and hope that shines through in those moments. But in terms of portraying the Black struggle, I don't know, that's a hard one. Like you said, I mean, it's blood DNA, right?
Right.
I grew up in Georgia. I grew up in the South. I used to go to plantations in elementary school and pick cotton, and go across, slave graves and Native American unmarked graves. And that energy is in me and in my spirit. My parents are Angolans. They came from a civil war with colonialism and its own stuff. So this thing is deeply bedded in me. And I think for me, I always want to come from a place of honoring my ancestors, honoring their spirit, but also being truthful to the moment, and not letting anybody slide. There's no letting off the hook to slavery. There's no letting off the hook when it comes to colonialization. There's no coming off the hook when it comes to civil rights in the 60s. There's just not. And as much as we can bring as much truth and authenticity and love in it, because in the midst of all of that struggle and pain, there's always joy and light and laughter. And that's how our people were able to survive those, insane moments. And so I always try to find that, in as much as I can, find the joy. And I'm grateful, because like even working on things like Lovecraft and slave play, like we were during cuts or breaks, you know what I mean? You're cutting the full with each other. You're cracking jokes. And that's what keeps you light. And when it's time to go and be serious, you're serious, but as much light. I mean, we were twerking backstage on Slave Play before we had to go on, right? It was just trying to bring that, I guess, that levity, that lightness to it. Yeah, because all the duality of that always exists in us, the struggle and the joy. That's something that always lives in us and is honestly powerful. And one of the most things I love about being a Black person, both of those things exist in me at its highest point, and I think it's beautiful. So.
Absolutely, period, point blank. No, especially for Black women made a huge impact this year, and I mean throughout history. We just always haven't got the credit. Okay,
come on.
Okay. So I definitely
don't want to give us credit.
They don't.
They be butt hurt. Butt hurt.
Okay.
Butt hurt.
And sometimes, you know, they look like you, and sometimes all skin folk and kin folk, and it'd be a little confusing. Sometimes you're like, what team are you on?
Well.
You know? But okay. I do want to say though too. So while because you were saying that you twerk backstage, so you know you're obviously you're just trying to be uplifted. But I always wonder what Broadway actors are thinking before they hit the stage, because I feel like I'd be freaking out. Like, are you going through your lines? Like, what's like literally in the final seconds before you're about to hit stage and say your first line? What goes through your mind?
Oh, that's interesting. I think the fear and trepidation maybe that comes is probably only comes from me like the first run through after tech, if we have like an invited dress or the first preview, right? Because you're getting out that jitters, you have those previews to kind of fill it out before necessarily it's critiqued and locked. So you have essentially like 3 weeks to get out all the kinks, get out all the stuff. So for me, the first week is always insane. And I guess I combat it. I mean, it's a long rehearsal process, and so you really have the time to delve into these characters, which is great, and prepare yourself for the moment. And then I think there's this thing of like, you shake it off, you stretch your leg back there, you take a breath and say, well, here we go, right?
Yeah.
And you feel that energy. And the great thing about doing Slave Play, like you could feel the energy from the room, the first preview of people who were excited to see it and scared to see it and nervous to see it. And that fuels me, that excites me. And so that was great. And then those moments, because it's a mirror on stage, I guess the difference with Slave Play, like there's this huge mirror, right? So you're seeing the audience watch you the whole entire time. And so those moments where it gets intense and you feel those energies of people being resistant, and that's hard, quite honestly, to act, or you're like, okay, I can't internalize that. I still gotta be a character. I can't take on that energy. So that's been the hardest part. But in terms of I feel like we're so prepared by the time we get there that you kind of shake it off, at least for Broadway. That's like home. The stage is home for me. I find more of that fear, I think, in TV and film because it's a new medium. And so you're like, everyone's like, action, cut, 1, 2, set, go. And you're like, wait, what's happening?
Right.
This is new, and a camera's in my face. What is happening?
And were you actually, so you were pregnant at the time playing Hannah?
No, I was pregnant. I was pregnant during The Color Purple.
Okay.
But and yes, they made a prosthetic belly for Hannah.
Okay.
That was not me being pregnant.
I wanted to make sure, because I was like, wait, literally, because I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you've seen all the tweets online. Literally each episode of Lovecraft, I'm like, I need a breakdown. Is there things that I missed? You know, like you really have to watch it. It's not like shows that you can tweet or be on your phone. You have to literally pay attention, because there's little like very small things that you could just miss that will take you to the next episode. What is it like being a woman who is pregnant while also performing? Does that make it a lot harder, or is it just kind of?
Man, it's a different beast. Because I was doing a musical 8 times a week on Broadway, so it was hard once I started to show, and you could feel the baby moving, and you know, it was harder to like find my breath in certain moments, and you're growing you're growing bones, you're growing a body, you're growing a spirit in your womb. And it's exciting and it was fun. And I'm grateful to have done it for how long I did it. Because I think I was maybe about almost 8 months pregnant when I left, which is way too big for the character Nettie. I mean, at that point, you're like, oh God, I think Mr. might have gotten to Nettie. Right. This is a different story we're telling at this point. So I'm grateful to the producers for allowing me that opportunity. But it's amazing. I feel like there's such strength and power in that, knowing that I'm bringing life into this moment and still able to do my career. Like, women are multitaskers, and I'm so hyped about being a woman, the strength that I have, the power that I have. And I think I learned that in myself during that process, that yes, I can still work. I can still do my job, and I can grow a whole human being here, and I can be present, right? And I can take care of myself. And I was so supported. Like, the Color Purple family, they were just the most supportive cast mates and friends that I've ever had. So it was a beautiful experience.
Absolutely. And literally, while I was studying you, I was thinking about that too. Like, oh my gosh, she had a kid. She was doing, she was traveling to different places. And it really, because for a long time, women have been told, like, you need to stay at home, stay off your feet. And especially if,
or your career is over.
Absolutely.
When you have a child, like, nobody's gonna
exactly. And then we see Beyonce, who's like, performing, and like she's 7 months pregnant. And I'm just like, oh, well. And it really, what's beautiful about it is that it really does open doors as women start to take more risk, and they say, you know what, I'm not gonna settle down. I'm not gonna stay in the house. I still, love what I do, and I want to continue doing that every day. So big shout outs to you. I did notice on your Instagram page that I wanted to point out, speaking of all the Black empowerment women that have been, killing it this year, you said you had some crazy issues with voting. That's, girl, I was like, listen, so you didn't do, so first of all, shout out to you also to being a local voter, not just a, presidential election voter, but you said that you were waiting in lines, it was raining, like, what was that experience like?
Oh my God, 4.5 hours of craziness. It was long. I think I got there at 7:45, and the line was already starting, like, wrapping around the other side of the street. And then I didn't leave till 1:15. It was complete madness. I think there were maybe 4 voting booths in there. And I have to give credit more so to the people who I was in line with, all of the Black women and men that were in line with me, because essentially we became family at that point, waiting in line for 4.5 hours. I mean, these were nurses and doctors who took their time off, who said, I voted on the first day of early voting. And all of those people were like, come hell or high water, we're going to be here. We took this day off, no matter how long it takes. This is what we're going to do. And we took care of each other. People made sure anybody who was elderly was able to go to the front of the line, and everybody else, we waited. We you know what I mean? We took care of each other in the best way we possibly could. But by no means should this be normalized. This is horrible. It was definitely voter suppression. It shouldn't take that long to vote. And at the same time, I am proud of people for sticking it out. You know what I mean? Against all odds, we stood in that line, and it was beautiful.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, but I was definitely, like, adamant about, I want to be here. I want to make my vote happen, because, absentee, I've never done an absentee ballot. So I was like, I don't know what this could be. I don't want them to return this to me. And then I'm in Canada and I can't have access to get it back. I just didn't want no issues. I was like, let me go vote in person. But yeah.
No, girl, I'm from Missouri. So I was like, look, I'm registered in LA, but I was like, Missouri needs it. And baby, that's where my vote's gonna go. Because you get to vote on your senators and your reps. So I was like, look, we need a lot of help. So I always try to vote in Missouri, just because I'm like, California, y'all got it, y'all good. But the Midwest and the South, whew, we still in another dimension. As you like you said, you was enjoying
the work.
Work, okay.
Right.
Shout out to Stacey. Okay. But
come on.
But no, I don't want to hold you up much longer. Again, congratulations on everything that you've done. I am a fan of your work. Literally, when I went to go see One Night in Miami, I was with my guy and I was like, oh my gosh, that's Hannah from Lovecraft. I know that's her. And he was like, oh, Google her. So we literally just would like Google, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's in Broadway. Like literally, I'm a fan of yours now. Like you are amazing. And I just feel like you brought Shabazz, like even though you didn't have like, you know, a lengthy script for Betty, to me, you brought her to life and you completely added to Malcolm's role, so or his character, the actor that played. So I'm a fan, forever girl. And so if you can, please shout out your social media handles and where people can follow you.
Sure, you can follow me on Instagram at my name, Joaquina Kalukano. I don't really tweet, so I won't even throw that out there. I'm really just, I really appear on Instagram, so that's where it's at.
Also, okay, so when can we expect to hear about the project you're working on now?
I'm hopefully by the end of this year. It will be released, I believe, around Resurrection Sunday, so
okay.
Easter.
Okay.
So it's definitely, and it's a Lifetime movie. So yeah.
Yes.
It'll be fun.
I love Lifetime. Literally, like, yes.
Especially right now.
I know.
All the Christmas movies.
I know. Literally, people miss out on so much. I don't know if you've seen You on Netflix, but that came from Lifetime.
Yes.
Yeah. So
no.
Yes. I'm pretty sure it was either Lifetime or Hallmark, the Hallmark channel, but I'm pretty sure it's Lifetime. And so people loved it on Lifetime and then moved it to Netflix. But so I'm definitely looking out. But again, thank you so much for talking with us on Where's the Buzz TV, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your week.
Thank you. You too. Thank you so much.
See ya.
See ya.
Where is the buzz?
Oh, yeah.
Where is the buzz? You said was mine.